You know, there's a lot to be excited about, in Maryland these days. For me, I'm very excited after serving 7 years in the legislature that the Speaker of the House finally knows my name. There's a little running joke in a closed little circle. The Speaker coached around my dad, and my dad's name's Ken, and for 6 years the Speaker called me Ken. And getting elected to minority leader in the House, I'm finally acknowledged as Nick, which is pretty cool. And my dad was a much better athlete than I ever was. So, and we all know the coach over there admires good athletes. So I serve in the House of Delegates as the minority leader. The minority whip, Kathy Shalega, is in the back of the room joining us tonight. And I want to thank all of you, the business leaders of our state. We really have a tremendous group of folks with talent and ability in this room who create an unknown number of jobs for our communities, our families, and our economy. And it's what turns the light on for state government and pays the bills for so many of the things that we need to do for our people. I want to acknowledge the effort of the Senate President and the Speaker of the House, as everyone has, on the death tax. We think it's a real hindrance to our economy to be taxing those estates at the end of life. And we have with us Delegate Susan Krebs, who in the House has put that bill in for 7 years. So I want to thank you, Delegate Krebs, for your leadership on that topic. And while there's so much to be proud of in Maryland, and I am a lifelong Marylander, I've lived in Anne Arundel County all of my life. I love it here, and I want to make sure that Marylanders stay in our state for the long haul. But I want to bring to your attention a website, and I encourage people to maybe look it up in their phone or write it down and check it out later. It's called howmoneywalks.com, and it's an independent analysis of IRS migration data. This migration data is not targeted at Maryland in any way. It's a full analysis of the country. And you can click on every state. In fact, when you click on the state, you can also go down as far as to county and city levels. But it explains to you how taxpayers move throughout the nation. They have a blind analysis of tax returns, and you can just follow the money around the country. And over the last 10 years, for whatever reason, Maryland has been on the losing end of that. In fact, we stick out as a sore thumb. Maryland has been losing an unequal amount of taxpayers to other states. Now, our population has gone up, largely due to immigration and migration from states like New York, Washington, D.C., Michigan. But overall, our tax base has shrunk. And it's shrunk to places like Florida and the Carolinas, which you might suspect because they have that reputation for being lower tax. But 40% of the people in the analysis just jumped over our borders. They just jumped to Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. The biggest winner was Pennsylvania and Delaware. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people from my town, Pasadena, who have moved. They've taken root up in Delaware. And it troubles me. It really worries me. It weighs on my conscience. And I believe we need to implement reform in Maryland when it comes to our tax policy. I believe that's a driving force of folks leaving our state. We have so much to offer. Under the leadership of the General Assembly, we have incredible schools. We have incredible investment in the environment and infrastructure. But people are leaving, and there's a reason for it. And I can only come up with the idea that it's the fact that our tax structure, our overall tax burden is weighty. And that heavy hand of tax and fee and tolls has consequences. And we're in a competitive environment for taxpayers. And so many people are choosing to leave. So this session, House Republicans are introducing legislation that will reduce income taxes for all Marylanders by 10%. You may think, wow, that's a big chunk, but it's about $300 million. Phased in over 3 years, it's small change in the overall picture, but I believe it will go a long way to strengthening our state and getting Marylanders in a better footing in their families, getting Marylanders back to work, creating jobs and opportunity, and really keeping families together so that you don't have folks fleeing our state. So that's our priority in the House of Delegates and the House Minority Caucus. I look forward to working with you, the business leaders of our state. If you have ideas about how we can make our state better, please come forward to us. Our door is always open.